Volume's off. Okay, we're live on Facebook. Test, 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 test. Powerful day today. I can feel it in my bones. We're live on YouTube. We're going to have a new friend come in, Dawn Canter, and beloved sister who's always got some great comments on the shows. So I reached out to her and asked her if she wanted to do an impromptu, spontaneous, intuitive, creative, imaginative, and depending on what we're doing, courageous. I am soul frequency. Anyway, I'm just been busy all morning and trying to land. But we're going to play the intro and then be right back with Dawn Canter. So sit tight. Boom. Everybody, how's it going? Another day at SOULSPEAKS 5D Soldier One Studios, bringing in the intel from the front line of the apocalypse. Welcome everybody. We got Dawn Canter in the house. Beloved sisters made a lot of great comments on the show. She shows up every day, not just here, but for the community. And we're going to get down in the trenches with her and see what's going on in her world on the front end of the front line of the apocalypse, of the unveiling. And I just want to say to everybody, thank you for your continued love and support and contributions. Allow us to keep doing this by the seat of our pants every day. There's a huge wave of abundance frequencies rolling through the earth. And I think if we just keep on moving forward and doing the things that we love doing, being with the people that we love being with, we will expand that abundance in all forms. So let's get her up here now. Let's see, Dawn. Boom. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay. So there should be a box that says, there you go. There you go. Let me unmute you. Hang on. God, I've seen you before. Where did I meet you before? What planet was it? Hang on. You're muted. Hang on. Let me fix it. Wait a minute. You try to unmute it. Oh, you're good.
Okay. Said that you were wanting me to unmute. Can you hear me?
Houston, we have landed. I can hear you just fine. I can hear you just fine. Let's, yeah, you're a little bit low. You're a little bit low. Make sure your mic, make sure your microphone's not covered up. Oh, do you have headphones on?
Yeah, okay. I gotta get, now what do you say?
I can see you. I can see you fine. Your voice is a little bit low.
Well, it is a headset, but
oh,
I can't
there you
put
go.
it on.
When you did that, yeah, I can hear it better. Yeah. How's that?
Hit my.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah, it's okay.
I got a deep voice. It's going to carry, but
yeah, I can hear you.
I want to be heard if we're going to be faced.
Well, just pull that microphone up a little bit closer, and You'll be fine.
I'm not sure where it's at. Maybe it's on this one. How about that?
Now you had
You
it on
don't
the other
mind?
one. No, is that it? Is that supposed to go around your ears? These
No,
3D things are
it's in
so
my ears. It's on my neck. I've had it a long time and I hadn't had it out in a coon's age, but
that sounds good when you had it up like that. It's that
I
one.
can unhook.
Yeah.
I can unhook it. Uh, Probably because I'm talking up and it's down.
There you go.
Maybe.
That was it. That was it. Yeah.
What about now? I don't
That's
want to have
good.
to hold it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. So yeah. Welcome to Soul Speaks 5D. Thanks for coming in and taking the plunge, taking the challenge, and sharing
Yeah,
space
right.
with us. Hey,
My my privilege.
I just want to say to Little Too Spicy on YouTube, I see you on the shows, and I know you're in Arkansas. We're in Arkansas too, and I just want to know where you're at. Maybe we're
No,
close
I'm in
by.
Tennessee.
Oh, I know you're in Tennessee. I was talking to Little Too Spicy in the YouTube room. Um, so you're in
Oh,
Tennessee.
okay.
I would never know you were from Tennessee based on your accent.
Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding.
Yeah.
No, I always felt like I sound like a hillbilly from, up in Pogey,
Nah,
but
the Southern dialect is
um,
very, very attractive, no doubt. So that's why
I'm
there's
a
so many
city
more
girl though.
that's why there's so many more
I'm a
babies made. Huh? Go ahead.
I'm a city girl. I was raised in the city, but I love the country. So,
Yeah. Right on.
but I'm playing it in the city right now, and I've been here for a minute or two. So I'm here, and I'm going to make the best of it, and I have, and it is a wonderful life. I am ready when you are. Are we on? Like,
Yes, we're on. Yes, we're on. So yeah, we're live. We've got about 80 people in the house right now on all the platforms. So you popped your cherry. So you know,
for
I like to do everything spontaneously. I know it upsets people sometimes, but
don't me. I'm the same way.
yeah, well, I think that's where we capture our magic, and I have seen in 2000 shows how this thing's evolved, at least from my own standpoint, where the highest, most profound activations, channelings, downloads, transmissions come from these conversations. And so it's 111 on the East Coast, uh 1111 in Sedona. So that must, when the numbers line up at the same time you're saying something, that's just like those tones going off in your ears giving you validation. But you've made some I at least from my opinion, you've made some really balanced aware comments consistently on these programs, and I want to thank you for coming in and infusing your energy into the shows, because I watch everything and I pick up on all the frequencies, and I look at the comments as I'm watching the shows, and I don't always acknowledge it very often, but I really appreciate you and the others that do that. So
I
I'm
know you.
curious. Where did this Southern girl? When did she wake up? How did she get to this point where she's so calm, cool, and collected?
I can tell you, inside I'm shaking.
Mhm.
Uh, but I also know that if you're shaking, you still got to do it. So because it will come out right. And I am so grateful that my life involves you guys, because I was so alone, not alone. You got everybody, but in the physical. And you all are my family. I don't care if I had never got to speak. When all this is over, what we're doing, we're raising humanity, because humanity is lost. And humanity is who we are.
That's right.
Yes, we're spirit. Yes, we're soul. Yes, we're all of nothing and everything. But let me tell you something. I'm living this life for me now.
Yeah.
Now, I live my life for others. All my life, I got joy. I'll get with it here in a minute. These have got to go. They've got to go because when I speak to people, my heart swells. I'm like you. When there's times you just want to say, oh, shoot, let's get out of here. Like, okay, I'm the boss. You know, you say, I get to say, let's go, you know, and then you have a moment. Then that moment you think that, and you might say it even, the most overwhelming love embraces you. And that's it. That's why I'm still here.
Yeah.
I want to feel that.
Yeah.
I want to touch that. I want to touch this hand in that hand. And I want to say I'm so grateful. I am so blessed and loved and provided for. And I was the provider.
That's right.
Before now. I worked my ass off all my life from the time I was a junior in high school. My mom had to sign a paper when I was 15 to get a job at Walmart. And I didn't stop. It was a drive. I was raised in the projects. And I don't call them the projects. I call it what it is. It was Pine Ridge Circle. And I know why now. You know, you've got all these questions as a child. That's why we got to go back. That's why it's 69. That's why the 6 goes this way and slings out that way, because it goes out here and that 9 catches it. The tail catches it and brings it into the center. And when you get to the center, it was so much. That's when I really woke up. And I think I always had access to my heart, like the space, because I have in my life have been in other strangers, like go in a video store, meet a woman, 20 years older than me, and something told me that I just need to visit that store more. So I do. And you become a light in that woman's life because she finds out she's got love.
Mm.
That was one of the first things in my life when I was married. I was married 27 years. And then all hell broke loose. It had to be my soul calling that I had to answer because I loved him. I was committed to that marriage. I was out of debt. And in my human eyes, I had it made. But I was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
We were friends, but what is that?
Yeah.
When you're married? So, and we knew like 15 years into our marriage, I knew. I just started feeling this stuff. And I didn't know, I couldn't tell him, but I was always straight with him, I went straight to him and told him, this is what I'm feeling. So darned, I can't explain it. I don't understand that, he'd say. And I'm like, well, I don't expect you to understand it because I don't know myself.
Yeah.
It was something I didn't have. It was a force, like pushing me into a conversation I didn't even know how to start. Just to say something's going on with me, and that's not a lot.
Wow.
You want details. So, but you have your ups and downs in marriages. I have 2 wonderful young men. One of them's a daddy. One of them's not, but I've got my 2 boys, and I've got a granddaughter, Gabriella Marie. She's 8 this year. She'll be 9. But I know it's a very special year for her. Anyway, I don't want to talk about my personal life that much. I can just say that I did leave. I didn't leave until I had met somebody, and I rode a bike, and I rode alone. And so I wanted to meet some other women because I knew they were getting more and more and more women riders. And so I wanted to get with them and let's go anywhere. I didn't care. I had plenty of money. I had everything, and I just wanted to go. Well, I just ended up hooking up with one, and she was married and lived about 45 minutes away. And so we started meeting halfway and then going wherever. She'd pick a place to go ride that she loved, and we come my way and ride it by. I lived up in Hunter, in Elizabethton, Tennessee. I lived about a mile and a half or two from a river, and I was just surrounded by nature there because I grew up in the city, and when I got married, it felt like we was just plumb out in the country, but we were right on. I mean, I could look over and see, the main road and the store over there, but it felt like when I was at home, I was at home. Nothing else existed. So that's where I found my serenity in the times where you just was wondering, what are you doing? Still staying, But I made the best of it, and it was what it was, and everything is what it is until it ain't.
Yeah, that's
then
true.
There's something. Then when you just get a taste, is what I call it. You don't actually taste it, but it's I can lick my lips at how much better that feels. I could just eat that time spent on that ride with somebody else and all this stuff, that you start experiencing. And anyway, before you know it, I'll just say that about a year later, I don't know, I think I met her in May because I had a dog ran out in front of me. It didn't run out in front of me. It chased. My ex-husband was on a scooter and I was on my bike, and he was ahead of me. And I'm not a close follower. I give people their room or space. I was about 30 feet behind him, and this dog comes running out. I'd run through there for lots, but there'd never been any dogs loose. And so here comes that dog, and I seen it coming through the yard, and I thought, oh no, because he was just out really just to go with me. He didn't really give a shit about riding a scooter with me, I don't think, but he enjoyed it or he wouldn't have been there. But we were going to try to enjoy that ride, and here come that dog, and it didn't catch him. It started out, he got by before or whatever, it give up. It went over and sat on the side of the yard, and I waited till I almost got to the dog and goosed it, which I wasn't only doing but about 20 whenever I goosed it. So by the time I goosed it and thought that maybe I probably got 10 miles an hour quicker by goosing it, and the dog, as soon as I looked to the left, the dog was up and running toward my bike, and it ran into my front wheel. Is what it did, and it flipped that dog around underneath. You know how it just whatever it called it, pushed it under the body of that bike and flipped me over those bars. And when I flipped, I just come all over the bars, and my body never hit the ground. My face shield hit the ground, and this left shoulder. After I hit, I slid. I don't know. I could hear it going, you know, and it hit my shoulder. And whenever it did, I know that I was aware that it had happened, and I could hear, but I couldn't move. I was because I don't know that I didn't come out of my body at that time, like, you know, and see me lying there, because I can see me, and I couldn't have seen me any other way. In the air, head, like, you know, body, and then hit that. And for my body to be, I've always been big, you know, hefty is what I call it. Then I figured that would be, I mean, you know, why wouldn't my body have came down with it? But it did. My shoulder hit. It was like I don't know, it's hard to explain. And nothing got broke. I got up, after he come over and tried to talk to me, and I was trying to move to say, just give me a minute, because I knew he didn't know if I was dead or alive.
Wow.
He didn't know what happened. And so, anyway, that happened. And not long after that, I met uh, the woman that I rode bikes with. She worked as a chiropractor assistant in an office, and I ended up not having insurance to cover me, which I didn't know, which is all that paper shit's bullshit. Anyway, but they tried to tell me that I was paying insurance on my bike. I said, why would I insure my bike and not insure my body? It's just stuff that started making not sense, Todd.
So I can get the. Yeah.
So I didn't have insurance, and I got up off the ground finally. After, I don't know, probably 5 minutes, I laid there and got up and started walking back toward the bike, because he stopped the bike right in its tracks, that dog did, and I know it broke that dog's back, because he said it skidded it, like its front paws skidded off the road. And I said, the weeds by that was, 10 foot high, and it was out in the country, and I thought, I ain't going in there. And I was trying to get my senses back anyway, but I wanted to check on that dog. But anyway, he looked down and said, are your fingers broke? And I said, no. And these two were. They had got caught under the clutch. It's what they had done, because, I used those three, and those two just happened to got right at the knuckle, got broke. So anyway, I knew I was going to have to make a trip to the hospital, although I didn't want to. And it had tore my bike up or whatever, where I couldn't ride it home. And so I called my son, my youngest son, Lucas, and he come and got me. We went to the hospital. But after that, they set my fingers back and wore some of that road rash off and all that stuff on my left side. And this arm, this shoulder didn't even hit, but this arm, these two arms and this shoulder, nothing else got scraped and banged and broken. But I didn't have insurance for the fingers to get whatever needed to be done. Well, I didn't have that kind of cash, because I work hard and I play hard. I don't put money in the bank. I ain't waiting to die.
You can't take it with you. Right?
To die with nobody. I know that my two boys are able to take care of themselves. They were fantastic young men. And it's just one of them things that I've never been one of these mothers that have said, don't worry about a thing, I've got you.
No.
Because when they were young, Todd, I knew they weren't mine. I knew I had them. I knew I brought, I carried them. They heard my heartbeat for 9 months and all that, and I'm their biological mother. But I knew from raising those two boys that I didn't know what the heck to do with them. The world had changed since I grew up, of course. Yeah. But my goodness, the paperwork, you can italicize that, because when you put a kid in school, they take all rights away from the parents, they think.
Yeah.
You're giving them permission. You're giving them permission. I'm giving them permission to have my child under their roof for the day. I'm raising him.
Yeah.
You're here to so-called educate him. But anyway, I ended up getting, after that, I worked construction with my husband. We had a paint business. We painted for Roadrunner markets, BP markets. We worked for Warren Brules, and now his son runs the company. But we went around painting those until his son came in and took over, and he started tearing all of them.
Was that motorcycle experience, was that kind of like the final sign or impetus for reawakening?
No, that motorcycle crash did not scare me. Like, I'm not a real fearful person. If I'm going to do it, I'm not going to be afraid of it.
Yeah.
But I had a desire for that. and I didn't have a desire for that all my life. That happened when before my brother, he passed and went on to his uh, heavenly realm in 2006, and he was 36. He just fell to the ground, had a massive heart attack, and never got up. That changed my life. But when I did break my fingers, that's what's relevant here. It caused me to have to reach out and see what else I could do about it. And she happened to, I already was riding with her, and she happened to work in that chiropractic office. And the doctor dude said, tell her, come over here. We'll take a look at him, because what I had done is left them in where they'd set it and put it in a splint or whatever, little things, left it in there too long. And I was doing all this stuff, knowledge of how to take care of them online, trying to figure out what I could do for myself. Didn't have nobody else that was educated in that way. So anyway, I never did get them fixed, but that's how my life changed. I didn't realize at the time that my greatest fear in this whole world was being alone.
Being alone.
It was being alone, because I spent a lot of my childhood alone. When I was in my dysfunctional family.
How did you come to terms with, how did you become okay with being alone?
I wasn't. That didn't happen until that relationship fell apart, which is a 5-year relationship. And this is a relationship that I had never, it was not, I don't even know. It's just one of them things.
You never saw
to
it
go
coming.
from a 27-year marriage to a woman.
Uh-oh. She froze up. Man.
That was we in.
You good?
Am I froze?
No, you're back. You're back. You're good.
Okay.
So you went
Anyway,
from a 27, you went from a
Yep.
27-year marriage to and you didn't see it coming, 5 years with this beloved sister, and then you were alone.
Yep.
How
And
long ago was that?
That right there was what broke it shattered my heart into however many pieces I've had to work through since.
Yeah.
I had to pick every piece of that up and know why it was laying on the ground, because that's who I was. I wanted to know the stuff. I'm a communicator. And when I left that relationship, I didn't know anything. There was no, the communication had ended between us. And that's why it just, I was sitting there one day. She said something to me one night that I heard a couple of times. And I believe this was the third time that I had heard her say it. She said, I just need to live by myself. I just need to be by myself. I just need to live by myself. And we had already been through conversations, because I'm not one to.
Energy strong. I'm not sure who's freezing up here. Is she still going? No, she's frozen. Okay. Let me send her a note and tell her to go out and come back in. Let me see. Hang on a second. Let's see.
I already know that
All right. You're breaking up. Well, let's see. Here we go. You rebooted. Unmute. Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on past that relationship, but that's the relationship. And leaving, I started over, left everything, ended up here where I am now. And that is in a basement apartment of a house that my son and his family live in. And my mother and my daddy lived beside of us at the time. They were moving in over there. We were all going to be here. Sounded real good for each other. And that happened to me, and I moved in here. I was here 7 days without any power. It was so quick and so instant that nobody was here first but me, and I wasn't even leaving when they found a place to live. I had no, I, I had no idea that I would be living here when my son said it has a little apartment in the bottom of it, or kitchen, bath, whatever, like a little apartment in the bottom of it. And he's like, you never know if you ever, needed it. And I'm like, don't even say that. I was good.
Prophecy.
But what? 3 weeks later, I was sitting here, and what happened is I got up that next morning after I'd heard that said one that last time. I didn't have a response. I didn't even know how to. I guess I went numb. Because it was just, I couldn't imagine starting over again. I just could not imagine that. It's a lot of hard work to do that, for a woman to do that. And I was just I made $25,000 a year. It wasn't like I was a millionaire. And so I just did the best I could do. And I went to bed that night and I couldn't sleep. I got up, was on the couch, just, I don't know, I guess crying. I don't even know. All I know is she got up the next morning and got her coffee and went to work, because there wasn't a word said, not one word, because I didn't know what to say, and she knew that I hadn't been in bed all night, and I guess she didn't want a confrontation before she went to work to discuss this, because she wasn't a real good communicator anyway, and she just hit the door, and I was just crying, I was in tears, and I was thinking to myself, what the fuck am I going to do? I meant it.
Yeah.
I needed to do something. I need to do it right then. And as soon as I said that, I heard you're leaving. It was that quick. As soon as I said that, I heard you're leaving. And I didn't even think about it. I knew it was bigger than me. I needed the help because I sure shit didn't know what I was going to do. Reached down, got my phone, called my oldest son that lives above me, and said, and I was all pieces, and told him, I'm leaving. I need your help, and I need it right now. It was like, I don't know, 7:45 in the morning. And I said, I'm leaving. I'm just going to take what I need and what is mine, like what I was going to need when I knew I arrived wherever, if I needed anything. And I had a little SUV, and my daddy had a van. And he said, well, I'll go get Papa's van, and I'll be right on over there. Me and him went to the Family Dollar store there in Churchill, Tennessee, and got 6 or 7 totes. Went back, filled them up, and he did it because I was all pieces. I was just doing my clothes and stuff. He went through the whole house, already knowing his mother way better than I thought he did, and putting stuff in the totes. He knew what I would take and what I wouldn't. And if he had any question, he hollered in there and said, what about blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, leave it. It's just that you just want out. You just want out. You just want be gone, be free. So I did, and I was gone that day. That was it. She come home from work. I was gone. I never even talked to her. I texted her once I got here and everything, and told her I was gone. See, her kids were coming. She's got 3 kids by that marriage she left, and they had bedrooms there where we lived. I made sure they was furnished, and them kids had what they needed. And they was coming. I wasn't having that shit going on.
Yeah.
Whatever she was feeling, it wasn't me. But I knew I didn't have control over what she was going to say or do. And them kids had been through enough of confusion, because she never would sit down. She wasn't like me, where my kids knew me. I had no secrets. Because if you do, you're in trouble. You've got some fake love going on there, and it's my family. And you don't fake that, not with family. Somebody that you love more than you do. I mean, I took a bullet for my boys, and I've always been honest with them, and they've always been honest with me, and we've got that kind of relationship. We can sit and talk about anything they want to. There's a lot of things they could talk to their daddy about. That's kind of man he was. He did, they they didn't want judged,
Yeah.
criticized, or it was his. He was 7.5 years older than me, and I always knew I was more. I was not. I don't think I ever remember being that silly girl. I remember
I don't
having
get that
fun, enjoying
I don't get
myself.
that. I don't get that impression. so
I really was
so what
very
happened?
silly.
So what happened from there? I mean, you were obviously, and I can relate to that. My thing started with something very similar, you know. Except I came home and everybody was gone, and and it all started. But so for you, I mean, for me, I walked the streets for 2 years working this shit out, and that wasn't even like the programs running in me that I
I
didn't know.
didn't
This was,
care if I was going to the street. I didn't know what this was going to be.
yeah,
And I knew that I couldn't afford it, whatever it was going to be, because I didn't know that they didn't charge rent down here. But he don't charge rent for this apartment,
yeah.
and that's not normal.
Well, we're not
A
normal.
renter's gonna.
Your whole story. We're all here. We're all the not normal people here
uh,
right now.
I can tell you that it has been an uphill. I'm a good mountain climber. I love to hike. I can do it. I can outdo a 90-pound girl trying to fall and keep up with me. I've always had more than enough energy. I mean, and that's because I did a physical job all my life. Painting new construction houses, and I crawled around a lot of them because I did all the doors, windows, and base, and he did all the trays, crown mold, anything above. Because I did take a fall on a
Yeah.
25-foot ladder. It slid down and it flipped me off and
What?
bruised my left leg up real bad.
God.
And so I never got on another 24-foot ladder or whatever.
What?
If
What?
it wasn't,
What? Who? What? Who? Were them? Whatever was that voice that told you you're leaving?
mm, at the time, I just, I'm a believer. I serve. I believe in Jesus Christ. I got baptized. I raised my boys to believe that same way. I was raised in. My mother was a diehard churchgoer. Uh, my daddy, I had never entered the church doors that I can remember, but one time, and that was when I got baptized.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and it didn't matter. You know, uh, I enjoyed church. I've done a lot. I went through the GAs, the ACT teams, and we got to do a lot of things. We learned a lot of stuff. So I had a lot of um, Bible teacher teaching me knowledge.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that spiritual atmosphere wholeheartedly because as a kid, I there was so much I didn't understand about what they were saying. I could read it myself, and they could say it. They said it the way they wanted to say it,
Yeah.
but I was like, it didn't meet. So I knew then that they were saying what they thought about what it was saying,
Yeah.
and that's not a heart to heart, one on
No.
one. That is an opinion about a
Well,
book as reading.
yeah.
You
You
know,
know, the thing
and
about, even like I started out as a Catholic. We weren't like diehard. We had relatives that were diehard Baptists and other denominations, but you know, there you can find people that are real and that actually share the same type of open-mindedness and you know love, peace, whatever,
yeah,
in anywhere.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed church, and it didn't matter if she didn't ever have to like make me and my brother, my younger brother, go. My older brother was a different story. Uh, there was almost 5 years. He's born almost 5 years older than me,
Hmm.
but we were. He was totally not. he didn't relate to me and Mike at all. I don't know why. It just he had his redneck friends is what I called them back then, and we just played with the other kids, and we were always together and stuff like that. We had a relationship that I never got a bond like that with my other brother, and so it
So
just isn't just the way it
so
was.
so where are you at now? How are you able to? Because I know, I mean, this is real. This is the real shit right here. This is what it's all
I'm
about.
right now sitting on my couch in my living room talking to Todd Medina and whoever else is on here that wanted to come in and see what was going on today.
I mean, I know from looking, I mean, your frequencies speak for themselves. But I know from your comments, even before talking to you, and I met you, I don't know where the fuck I met you, but I met you, and it's been like in the last 2 to 3 weeks. It had to be in dream state. I don't know. Because as soon as I saw your
Yeah.
face and the mic was off, I already knew what your voice was going to sound like. So I knew you right away.
Hey, you're me and I'm you. I just that's the way I see. I do. I actually do.
A lot of people have been talking about. I had probably in the last 2 3 days, at least 5 people wrote me. I know a couple wrote Morgan, and they're talking about you were in my lucid dream last night, and this was going on, and we were at one of them said, "Hey, we were in the on a ship, and there were all these beings." And some were ET-ish, and we were talking about New Earth, and you
I
guys
love
were,
it when you do that.
you know, you know what I'm
I
talking
love it
about?
when you do that. Gosh,
What?
you take us out there. You take us out there.
you
My
know,
dreams are not that way. My lucid dreams are not like that. Mine are different, but
so
they're
do,
not so galactic as yours.
well, mine aren't. That's somebody wrote that to me. I don't have a lot of galactic. I have just. There's just been a lot of lucid dreams this month. People are talking about, man, I
Yes.
remember. They're real specific, and I guess what I was talking about with the core, the connection between one person and another person, and it just seems like I don't know, man. It's like when
You're
we're
funny.
asleep. It's like when we're asleep, we're starting to carry this information to our awakened state somehow. I don't know, but I know I met you, and I think we were riding bikes, but they didn't
Oh
have
wow.
wheels. They didn't have wheels. They were like
Yeah, right. Oh
mag
yeah.
right.
I'm already right. I already see
They
it.
were like anti-gravity propulsion, man. We were like cruising through
Yeah.
the cosmos.
Now I could tell you, being alone, the way I have, I can tell you about exactly what happened that kept me here. I got fired 3 times. What happened is about 6 months. I was gone from the marriage for 2 years before we ever got a divorce.
Hmm.
We got a divorce, and stuff as soon as I got she knew I was getting a divorce, shit started happening. I could feel it. Like there was something going on there. She was always so jealous of me. And I don't have a jealous bone in my body. I don't even understand that word.
Right.
I just, be you, my God. What are you afraid of? You think it's gonna be the end of the world if you like tell somebody who you really are or what? But anyway, I've always been really real with people, straight up. Uh, I'm just not a bullshitter, and I hate the smell of it. So when I'm around somebody, I don't really want to say so much that it's bullshit. It's these senses that you've got. I believe it's this human body that gives me the guidance and says just get away from that person. You cannot trust that person whatsoever. They're like bullshitting you, and I've had that all my life. And then it's like I say, I've been drawn uh, to people, and they've always been women. So I know that I come in this world to be dominant masculine, but that I am feminine. I had that. I am woman. Hear me roar. But I do have a demeanor, and I believe more so of an energy around women, the masculine energy, because I believe when they come together, is that union you're talking about. But like if you're separated, with my partners I've had, I believe that they're masculine comes in with, or feminine comes in with whichever one of mine, and that's how we do.
Yeah.
That's where you get the vibes. It's
Yeah.
one of theirs and one of mine. It's not it could be masculine, but it's one.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's a delusion formed in the marriage of this modern world, because you're not separate, and that makes you feel separate. And then they sit and tell you in the religion that you are to have become one because you say I do, and that's about as crazy as anything that even when I was doing it all, it really just felt like motions. I knew I was committed. I knew we needed to have a wedding, and I paid for it and all this stuff. Done everything that I came here to do, believe you me.
Well,
and
you
be the
can't.
warrior. I've been a warrior. It doesn't matter what happened, Todd, to me.
Yeah.
I come out of it. But that last time when I ended up here, I sat here for 3 months with all those totes full, and all I've done was get up and go to the bathroom and maybe get something to drink. That's it. I was in such shock. I just sat here and laid on and looked at the ceilings.
Yeah.
I never went out. I didn't want to hear from my mother. I didn't want to see my kids.
Man. That's the
upside down and turned inside out.
Yeah, that's the abyss.
Who wants to see you bleeding all over the place?
Yeah.
And I sure didn't want to be seen that way. So if I
did
can't be me, I didn't want to be around anybody.
Yeah.
I know what
you mean.
I wasn't me.
I know what you mean. When it happened to me, I did it for 6 weeks. I just had, like a big bag of weed and some beer and, and the internet with some music. And I stayed in my room for 6 weeks with a cooler. That's all I did was go to the store, get the cooler filled up. But yeah, I know what you mean, man. But you look back on it now. Do you look back on it with sadness, regret?
No,
or is it?
I don't look back on it unless somebody asks.
Yeah. But I mean, did you
I know it's for a reason, and I'm proud of my journey.
Me too.
I'm blessed with my journey. I'm not ashamed to tell any of it. I don't care how you feel about man and woman or the divine union or whatever. Me and her had something going on there.
That's right.
And I can tell you right now, it wasn't about how sexually satisfied either one of us was. She had issues bigger, greater than mine. I'd overcome a lot of mine on my own. That's just who I am. I just come to be a brighter light to these women that had been beaten down and abused and treated like a piece of meat.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
I've got this woman here now. Let's hang her on the wall. It's my trophy. And look right here what she's got from me, at her body. Hey, that's not right.
No, it's not right.
It never was right. So, I guess I went through my life because I went around with my daddy when he was drinking to these other guys' house, his buddies, and they played guitars. And my mother would say, why don't you go with your daddy? And I'd go. I love my daddy. I'd go with him so he'd come back. If I didn't go, he didn't come back, and there was hell to pay for her, but between him and her. And if I went, hell, I made a little peace in the family when I done that. And I was young then, 8 years old, 9 years old. You're talking about a little girl. And I had a relationship with my daddy that my two brothers never, ever had because of his alcohol. And I don't know about what they did with him or any of that because I lived my life and I didn't sit and say, "Hey, you feel about daddy?" or "Why do you hate daddy?" or, just live. Everybody always had their own, and I knew that. I stayed my course, and no matter what they said it would have happened to them, I had my own relationship with him, and my daddy never abused me physically or mentally. And so I got my abuse, and I guess you could call growth from pain and trying to understand why families get tore apart by substances.
Yeah.
When you've got a person here to fill that void.
Yeah. So which is the substances. Yeah. The substances, the abuse, the addictions are, obviously There's something beneath it. And we know
I
now
didn't,
that this,
I didn't come here to be an addict. I know that. My younger
no,
brother didn't either,
no.
because we did whatever the heck we wanted to do. If we wanted to drink or whatever, we never got addicted.
So,
And that's because we were already okay. We took a drink. We weren't using that for anything else.
so how did you transform? Oh, you know,
Um,
you've always been transforming, I guess, haven't you?
well, I have, and I know that I had no clue. I had no clue up until that point in here when I felt like I did. And somehow, Todd, I don't know. It wasn't even uh, right then that it was the worst. It was about a year later, and all this occurred in 2014. And I left my marriage in January 2011. I was gone, and I was moved in a whole new city, a whole new life. Never looked back. And 2014, I was in a whole new city, a whole new life,
Hmm.
and never looked back. And anyway, I had a few jobs, but I got fired for no reason. And I knew that I was there because I was making a little pocket change and trying to hang on to a car that I had borrowed money on and to make bills
Yeah.
because I was out of debt. I owned my bike and I owned my car. I was out of debt when I left my marriage. I was out of debt when I left over there at the other place. And when I moved here, I was out of debt, and I wasn't here 6 months, and I knew I had to go take a loan out on my car to make bills.
Yeah.
So I did, and I borrowed the maximum amount, which was $19,000. They let me have on it. Was a 2013 Jeep Patriot, and every vehicle I have, it means something to me. Everything you've done, Todd, and everybody that's listening, I'm so grateful that you are and giving me the opportunity to share how great we are, how great we are to be able to love ourselves enough to stay here in this shithole in our life. I've clawed out, I don't know how many times, of the hole somebody dug for me. Why? No reason. We don't have to give you a reason. So I started over under roofs, but I started over 3 times because I got fired 3 times for no reason. And when I did, it took me a while to get another job. And so I got behind. And so each time I got behind, I was that much more stressed about how would you ever catch up making $8 an hour, seven, whatever it is an hour. I did get a job out last time making 8, but my gosh, it just wasn't going to happen. And I ended up getting fired the month before I got fired on that third. Number three's big for me. Number three's always been the charm. It's the charmer. It charms you and so much that you don't give a shit what's going on. It says, let's go, we're doing something new.
Yeah.
So when you're not willing to step into that, then you get pushed, like you said, and you get dragged, and shit happens to make it happen. And a firing of a job to me was like they might as well took a knife and stuck it in my back because I give it all I had.
Yeah.
And a month before I got fired, I was employee of the month, parking at the front door with a $900 bonus. A month later, I got fired.
That's the universe for you, pushing you. That's the universe in the ascension, pushing you where you need to go.
And then when I got fired, he didn't fire me. He said, I don't know what, he said, I don't know. He's showing me stuff that I never seen. I didn't see anything when he was showing me what he was trying to, he couldn't even tell me what it was. But he said, I'm going to look at this the rest of the day. And this was after lunch. He came to me and told me this. And then and I'll call you tomorrow. I'm going to send you home. Like I'm going to suspend you and send you home until in the morning. And then I'll call you. And I thought, what in the hell? That don't even make no sense to me. So I didn't say anything. Honest. I said nothing. Even when he was doing what he was doing, I said nothing. went to my station, which I carried 15 people on a line. It was a credit card company that, done disputes. And I worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week once I was hired permanent. That means I was able to work overtime after 3 months there. I was only at the job 5 months. So in 2 months' time, after I could become permanent, I got number one. And it was just crazy. All I can say is the world was crazy in every way. And here I was trying to get it figured out. So when I got fired from that job, I'd already got spiritual and all that. And the second job, before I got my second job, I decided that I was done, because that first time I got fired really got to me. And
Done.
I already had enough, and I went out
Were
here.
you going to check? Were you going to check out or what?
Oh yeah, heck yeah! They weren't nobody going to find me. They weren't nobody going to find me. They weren't going to come down here, and nobody was going to walk in and find me. I was leaving, and I already knew what I was going to do. And no, they might wonder what happened to me. I was going to leave a message, my voice, so they could listen to it anytime. And I did it. I recorded it on I had an iPhone at that time, and I recorded it and left it for my family. Just getting it all worked out. Woke up one morning and just sitting there, and I don't know. Something happened. It was a spiritual symbolism. And I felt like I had an office chair sitting over there at the time, because I spent a lot of time in that chair. That's the only one I had here, really, besides the futon bed I slept on. So that was all that was here. I left with nothing but clothes and like dishes. And so I didn't know what I was going to be sleeping on or nothing. I had an air mattress from before. I knew I could use it, but I'll come in with a futon bed, and I had an office chair that I brought with me, and I sat in that office chair, and I was sitting there just contemplating when is what I was doing. And so I was sitting in that chair, and something come over me, and it took the life out of me. I couldn't move. And so then I knew, I just started feeling this energy, is what I know now. See, then I didn't know what in the hell was going on.
It sounds like it took the day.
I thought maybe, okay, they're just gonna go ahead and let me go, because I felt like I had just.
It sounds like
went out of me.
It sounds like they took the death out of you.
Yeah, well, that's what I went through. I always believed in the cross, but I never understood the nails and all that part. I mean, I had a lot of questions about my religion.
So what happened? What happened in that moment? Did you couldn't move, and did you get any kind of message?
What happened is I was sitting there, and all of a sudden my arms dropped, and here I was listening and visualizing. I thought I was visualizing it, like you know how you lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
It's actually happened, but you're not moving. So then I don't know what happened. I woke up laying on this lounger that I slept on all this time. I never even had a bed. That futon got too rough, so I got a lounger couch, and I've been sleeping on it for all this time. And I was laid out on it, like sidewalk. I just fell on it, or I've been thrown on it, or pushed on it, or energy shit. I don't even know what happened. I woke up, it was a wire. Looked around and thought, what in the world? That was not me watching that. I was physically doing those motions, but I wasn't moving. Like I was not. I knew I felt like it's still numb, like I couldn't move.
So your physical body was moving, but you were not moving.
Yes.
So you were.
So I was watching myself. I had to be.
Yeah.
Well, I had to be watching myself sitting over there. I had to the spirit that moved me.
That's
and
really
then whatever.
Cool.
It was a ritual. It was to the cross. When I got to the cross, Todd, there was nobody there but me.
Holy
I wasn't
shiitake mushrooms, man.
I wasn't hung on no cross. There wasn't nothing but the most beautiful garden that I could even imagine
Wow.
at the cross,
So you're,
at the bloody, pain suffering cross that is image of this world. Uh, uh,
I got chills.
oh yeah, Jesus went to the garden, all right. He never left that garden. I know. I experienced some of the same stuff. This was what Jesus experienced, and therefore it's real to you.
Yeah.
That's
So
real to
you,
me. What happened?
well,
I woke up with
of course
marks.
it's real. Of course it's
I
real.
woke up with marks, X's. Like this was round, this was X, 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 round mark a pin, round mark a pin. My feet, same way. Uh, Round on top of my feet, the top of my feet, and on the bottom of my feet were X's. So I had 4 X's and a trip to a beautiful garden.
What did you
And
think?
I had symbolism in my apartment that people had given me. I had a cross that said something, the wisdom, the serenity prayer, I believe it was. A friend gave me, dear friend, that got thrown in the trash during it. That's
It
where I
got
found
thrown in the
it.
trash. Wow.
Yes.
And so
that's
you,
where I found it.
so you woke, so you, how did your human aspect?
I woke up marked. I
Yeah.
woke up marked.
Wow.
Where I had, and I showed my son this.
Yeah.
This was more than I couldn't explain. I needed to show somebody.
What did he
because
say?
they needed to tell me they seen these marks.
What did he say?
He's like, what in the world?
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, wow. What in the world?
But you know, this is important because it's important because there are people having these experiences all over the world every single day, and it's important. And I honor you for going so deep because this is the real deal, man.
Well, this is what people are putting their faith in and losing their faith in, Todd. And without faith, there is no hope.
That's right. Well, I always say
without faith. And my son got me this. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's the infinity, which was in my life before. This was in my life before.
Yeah.
The cross, the infinity, and the butterfly. And,
butterfly. There you go.
Yeah.
That's where I know you're from.
This is what he got me. He got me this the first Christmas we were here. No, second Christmas, because I carried us through that. I carried us through on that loan I took out because he was out of work. We were both out of work. But he ended up, I mean, he's fine. He done fine, but it was for me to lose everything I got, is what it was.
Yeah.
And know that I'm still going to be all right. But it says faith on it. And I had lost all of it.
Yeah.
See? But he knew I got it back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really cool story, you know, because it's like.
He knew I got it back before I knew I got it back. He got this before I lost it.
Yeah.
And I actually took it off. Like I physically, if I don't believe in something, it's over.
Yeah.
It's no good to me anymore. It's going in the trash. Because I'm not sending it to the Goodwill store to give somebody else hope in something I just lost hope in.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't hope doesn't exist. Hope doesn't exist. Hope doesn't exist in my vocabulary. I was told when my stuff happened and when my stuff happened, like that happened to you, one of the first things I was told was faith. Go look it up in the dictionary, and it was a transitive verb to trust and believe.
Right.
Yeah, and then I got the words faith is just a space. It's a faith. No, hope is just a faith. Hope is just a space marked between doubt and faith. You know, you either have faith or you don't. It's an all or nothing proposition.
Well, when this happened to me, and I decided, I heard, I cried. I started crying that day that I was really going to leave. You know, I done went through and told my family so they would have something to hang on to me by, my voice, because that's what you miss the most.
Yeah.
When somebody does something you can't understand.
Yeah.
So I wanted to leave love behind because I didn't care where I was going. I done had enough of this shit.
I left.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I was going to bust hell wide open. I didn't care. I was ready for it.
That's right. It's time to go balling. I can relate to your story.
What?
I wrote 7
now.
I wrote 7 of those letters.
I'm building my mansion in hell. Like, this is what we're doing.
You know
We're
what?
building our mansion in a fire that nobody can touch but us.
That's right. We are transforming or integrating or whatever you want to call it from the densest universal location to date. That's my take on it. We're doing this, man. We are absolutely doing this. And it's not going to be long.
It's been a trip.
Yeah, it's not going to be long before you're starting to see enough individuals doing what humans might call supernatural or whatever you want to call it. I mean, even from just what their skin looks like, with crystals showing up in their skin, or just people tell it's happening. For it to happen,
what I witnessed.
Well, and you know what I think so great about your experience, I can relate a little bit. Mine didn't go down like that, but for me, that was like the best, what people might call out of body experience. But I see it differently through your story, which was you were so effed up, and I've been there, and everybody on this watching's been there, curled up in a fetal position, bawling your eyes out, ready to go, and your higher self, which is you, jumped out of your body to observe that part of you, and all that stuff happened. And wow.
It did. And then after that, I started receiving so much information, I didn't know what to
now
do.
We're getting somewhere. So what are you talking about? Information. What kind of information?
I can tell you right now that every question that I thought after that experience was immediately answered. Wow. It wasn't, I mean, as soon as I thought, okay, where do I start? To myself, I wasn't talking to myself, out loud. I was thinking to myself, okay, now where do I start? So then I was going to ask God. After I thought it, I was going to ask. And it just got answered. As soon as I thought it, I didn't get a chance to speak it. It was answered for me. And it was what I needed to hear, and whatever that means, to each and every one. It means totally something different. Yes, there's resonance, because love is love.
Yeah, true.
But other than that, we are all in this together, but we have our own journey, and there's a reason for that. We are expanding all that is and was and will be.
Yeah.
Willfully be.
That's right.
Not by default.
No.
Or not when the body's laying 6 foot under. Like
aligning free will with universal will in a very dense environment where we lost our memories, and fucking A, man.
So, it started with my religion. I went through my Bible. My Bible's all marked up. Started it. So they would say to me, I got asked the questions, where do you start when you start? If you want to start the religion, I'm like, Genesis, to myself. So that, and they're like, get it. I got the Bible, got it out. Here we go. Mark. Skip, mark, skip, mark. They were reading me now. I wasn't doing this. I had no idea what was going on. So when I got done, a page done, they were like, read it, like I had to read it. And it said, I, they, them, they, them. I was like, what the hell? And it was like, it just hit me. There is no difference.
No.
So that was over for now. I got the message, I am that I am. The creator that I had been reaching and listening all my life to hear the voice of, I now heard very clearly, and had no question it was me, because the next thing that happened was, do you remember when? And it was when I was a child, and it was prayers that you don't tell nobody, but you and your God, or you and your whoever that's put the power in your body to move and speak and be here. And that's when I knew it was me. I'm like, I didn't tell nobody that. Like I didn't, like it couldn't be. I was worried. As a matter of fact, I still was fearful about it being an evil spirit. You know, if you're believing in goodness, you're believing in evil in this world. It's dual.
Mm.
You got to go one way or the other with it. And so I started kind of getting chills. I was thinking, well, I don't know. So, cause I had never heard. See, I'd never heard that. I had just felt it, like I had felt like I needed, or somebody, a friend, would reach out to me and say, "Blah blah 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 blah," and be a light and bring me out of a bad thought, or you know, a seriously fatal thought. And so, all I'm saying is, and you, this is for you because a lot of times I'll be listening and I'll be like, "Why? I just need to talk to Todd right here, right now." And tell him to chill the fuck out like he tells everybody else all the time to do. Because that is our resistance. It's the only resistance that I've had is if I sit and say, should I be smoking that cigarette? Should I be doing anything? Yes, I should. I'm here, ain't I?
That's right. I'm down here doing the work. That's right. You just can't get drunk and disorderly with it, but that's true
Oh
with
no, I mean,
anything. You
the
can get hung
addiction.
up on
See,
you
has
can
to
get
be,
hung up on anything, shopping, sex, rock and roll. But
the addictions. I never had any, but listen, honey, if I meet somebody that's got them, it's their business because my world that is, this is my world, is what I say. And if somebody comes into it now, it's love alone.
yeah,
And I say love alone because I don't want their human coming in here, starting anything just because I love them.
yeah,
If I say love alone enters my space, my energy is going to be spent in that kind of time with a friend. They're coming in spirit.
that's right.
Their spirit's going to walk them in here, and then they can sit here heart to heart with me, and we can have a really good time, one way or another.
Do you?
But I protect my space, and I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
And the reason why is I am alone, Todd. I've been alone since that 2014. Yes, I've had other women come into my life. I don't know why. I wasn't pursuing anything, but they had stuff to heal too. The woman I was with for 5 years, she had panic attacks. She was fearful of water. She would not let water run over her head or get under the water in a pool or hot tub or anything else. Uh, she was being stalked by her ex-husband, and she was already married 15 years, but her ex-husband was stalking her and forcing her by threats to come back and be with him also and film it. So this got big for me. Before we ever got the heart to heart, boom, here we go vibes that everybody felt around us, that I had no clue what the hell it's talking about. Everybody, we'd enter a room together, and they were like, they were intimidated because it's like they already was accusing us of being together, and we hadn't been together at all. But there was something there being healed, and so we were tuned in and tapped in and lined up together, and it offended everybody that knew her because Shay became a different person. And
energy
I'm not
speaks.
going to say, and she was a stronger woman when I left, and I knew that. And when I sat down and told, I did go back for one thing, and all that was to hook cable up for her son that she didn't know how to do. He needed the cable hooked up, and I went over there to do that and pick up my bike. I had to leave it in a building I'd bought and had put up. I paid. I left money that I spent. I didn't give a shit. I just knew I was leaving. I left in 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. We had two vehicles loaded up and headed to Johnson City then. But what I'm saying is, when there's healing going on, you might as well get out of the way, because that's what we're here to do.
Yeah,
We're here to see that we never was sick.
that's right.
And why are you afraid of water? Why are you letting him do you that way? Or why would you even get so anxious about your life that you can't breathe? And you've got to have somebody hold your hand and look them in the eye and say, breathe, just breathe, just breathe for as long as it takes until they can get their breath on their own. Because they're living a life of hell and they're allowing it because of judgment of what might happen if they leave that family and all that. You know, if you leave your family for whatever reason, I don't care who you are, you're going to get judged for it.
Yeah.
Well,
You're going to get judged for, you're going to get judged for
3 kids and yeah.
You're going to get judged for every damn thing you do. So sovereignty.
And I never did care about the judgment, but I judged myself all my life. See, I walked the line. I walked the line. So if anybody else said anything to me, it was like, fuck off already.
All I got to say is, if I had to pick somebody to walk in a bar with and stand back to back and fight our way out, I know who it'd be. And nothing like some Tennessee. Nothing like some.
I never carried no weapon.
Well,
I never carried no knife or no weapon. I knew already that. I already knew that if the guy or the woman or whoever I was going to have to come in contact with, what I was going to do is put them on the ground. And it was going to happen so quick because I was fit. I had painted houses all my life, and they couldn't walk a block.
I wouldn't mess with you.
Whip my ass, you know. No, I stood my ground, but I didn't fight. I stood up. And did you know if you stand up in love, because I love myself enough to stand up for somebody else, that's a standing up for a friend. There's things in the Bible that will never leave me because I know what's real for me and what's a bunch of shit somebody made up to take me under when it's supposed to be raising you up.
Yeah.
They wrote it so confusing. Heck, we ain't living in 2,000 years ago. We're in the modern world. Where's the asshole and bullshitter at in that Bible? You know, where's these translators at? They need to change some of these words.
We're writing the new good book.
That's right. And you know what? It'll never be read, not on paper. We don't need it. We've got it right here.
That's right.
Energy
speaks. Energy speaks.
They're with us. Every consciousness that wrote that Bible is helping us realize what's true about it.
And even more. And it
don't matter if you don't even believe in it. I don't care. Do your own thing. I don't care.
Well, pick anything.
I tell you right now, I haven't had an income since 2016. So it does annoy me a lot when somebody gets on here and says, but I got a roof to keep over my head. I've got bills to pay. Well, what if you lose your house? Yep. Don't you want something better than that? Are you going to bow down to these people all your life? Are you going to get your ass up and say, I know God is greater, or I've got something in me, you know, but you can't do it, Todd. We're too weak.
No, we're not.
We're too afraid.
No, we're not. Not anymore.
Well, I just tell you right now, when you can become the fire, and that's what I did. I knew what it meant when them lions was in there with David or whoever. I don't even know. It don't even matter what the name was. You can call him Snoopy. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Words mean nothing without love behind them.
I love the euphemisms. I'm just saying.
Somebody told me once before, don't tell me about your religion. I'm saying, well, let me tell you about Snoopy then. Right, Charlie Brown?
It's 2:22 on the East Coast. I think it's 2:22 in Tennessee.
Same story, different face.
We have 8 minutes, and I want you to be aware of that.
I like that number 8. That's my number.
It's infinity, man. But I want you to,
it's been my number.
If there's anything that you want to say or do, anything at all, the floor is yours.
Okay. I don't even know what that means.
I just don't want you to run. If you've got anything that you want to share, I
heard you, and I do. Like I understand what it means. But for me, to be having a floor, because Crown, Esther Hicks, Abraham, a lot of people, they were my friend, my only friend. during this fire that I now will blaze through this world. I don't care who you are. If you come to me without love in your heart, I'm going to know it because you've entered my field. Now, I've went through that. I don't want it if it ain't mine, all that shit. Once you get to the place where you know who you are, and that you know 4 times. They say 3, but 4 because you're the 4th one. We're number 4. Number 5 is a change. We're number 9 in this world. They take the 10, they took the 1, added a 0 to it, and made us the 0. And you can add as many zeros to that 1 as you want. We drop it when we're doing numbers. I don't know about numbers, physics, geometry, the human anatomy. I don't even know. I don't want to hear somebody say you don't know what you're talking about. I don't care what you think about me. Yeah, you might have a certification. You might be this doctor and you got this certification and degree. I did since 2014. I know I've even watched on videos, college educated professors and master degrees say that there are things in college that they do not teach you on purpose. Just like going anywhere else, they're going to tell you what they want you to know. And if you can't go anywhere else and get any different, you don't feel no, in other words, you're trusting them because of what the world says they are. They've got all this power that you don't have, and education you don't have. By gosh, I don't know anything about, and I have experienced most of it.
Yeah. Well, we're not giving our power away anymore. We're not giving our power away anymore.
All I want to say, and this goes to you mainly because you've got a feminine energy that's coming out and touching the world. Yes, you and Morgan are adorable. I don't know anything about that relationship, but what I see, and that's been very little. Like, I only watch what I'm really, from what I'm going to grow from, I guess, because I don't feel like I need anybody to walk into my life and say I can do better because you're with me. No, that ain't happening. I done went through all that black darkness and made her powerful. And I loved my man. That's me in the physical. I loved him all the way through this because I appreciate him for giving me this physical because she deserves to be heard and she deserves to feel what it's like to walk out and breathe in and speak whatever the hell she wants to speak without being suffocated to death.
Yeah. Damn.
That was a masculine energy. And I don't have any, I'm just saying that's how it works with me.
No, that's
nobody has to believe a word about anything I've said. I know what words mean. I break them down into numbers. If you say I love you, it's in me. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, Todd, and whatever what use it is to me. But what I do is I get impulses all day long. I don't think about anything. All these people say, well, I want to start a business and they're telling me what they want to do. Well, then that's not me. I don't want to know because they tell me I'm not going to know. Like I'm not going to understand in my human brain, but I already know what I'm doing. I already know how it's happening. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't put it out here and explain it, but I know it. I know it by what I'm remembering. They're showing me in the collective energy that supports me. And all the time, you think people think you're lazy and you don't want to go out here and get a job. I applied for 150 jobs before I finally set my eyes down and said, okay, I understand. Right here's where I'm supposed to be. Yep. I didn't know it was going to be this long. And I've learned to live with that. It's been very difficult for me. Yeah. And that's been an overcome of all that. And everybody's got their own, and some people get a free ride. Like I say, parents carry them. I can tell you that money has nothing to do with their soul. It's not for sale. not for sale. And we come in and agree to that. So we come in with a lost soul because we gamble. What happened is we gamble it away. We take a chance. We say, okay, we'll see what happens. If we don't ever, in other words, our heart don't get activated in that darkness at the time your soul's time is up, then you're just you don't. In other words, you can't be human. We have earned these bodies. You understand? We came in, and that's how we're lighting it up. We come in with soul.
That's right.
And we're lighting it up.
You're lighting it up.
We're lighting it up.
You're lighting it up. You're lighting this MF up.
I've got stuff growing out of these steps out here, concrete steps all around me, and up between my deck, the trees, stuff, and everything. And I'm wondering what the heck. And then yesterday he said, "What? Who do you think garden are you in?"
Damn. Well, you know what? I'm gonna rent my friend's RV sometime this summer, and I'm coming up that way. We're gonna see what the hell goes on. We'll get us a little
But I can tell you, I haven't asked outside myself, but a couple of times now. Like I had, and I know this is to make me stronger. But I know that I knew when I asked it was if it was yes or no, it didn't matter. Like I really said it'd be nice, and so I'd holler at Chris and say, if you got a couple extra cigarettes, I'd really like to have one right now because I've been out for like 3 weeks, or I haven't smoked in 2 months, or you see what I mean? It was just a test of whether I could produce what I really wanted in my life. It didn't have anything to do with the cigarette.
Right.
It don't have anything to do with this bottle of water. It don't have anything to do with this thing full of cinnamon whatever that I love. It don't have anything to do with anything material. This is about your heart and your head getting together and saying, fuck the shit. And you're using the power that you have grown from and raising yourself up so everybody else can rise with you, because we're bringing them. We're all going. When they wake up, Todd, they're going to clear the shit, but they're not going to clear it from they're not going to get burnt. Like it wasn't a burn, but it burned inside. It felt like it was on fire. When I was going through all that, losing everything, I'd worked I'm 53. I was born in 66. I know all my numbers, and that's number 8. This year's my year, baby. I'm ready.
Dang. We're going to have to get together again sometime. This is
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't care. I trust it.
Well, this is a power hour and a half.
I haven't went hungry. I did go hungry like I thought I was hungry, but hell no, I've got extra.
There you go.
I went a little while without any food. I quit in January 2020. I entered this world the morning I got up on the 1st. 112020. I said no more help with the EBT. It's like my mom begged me to do that because she's seen me do without, and she couldn't stand it, and she couldn't help me all she wanted to, and all this stuff. So I did. I said, it would be nice to still go to the store and get something damn eat. And I worked my ass off for it. Like I've paid enough money in this place to buy the grocery store. In fact,
you reclaimed
your pay out, Todd.
Yeah.
I did. I reclaimed it.
You reclaimed your sovereignty.
Because
I just want to I'm just want to tell you, I'm so happy you accepted the invitation to come on here, and I'm pretty much
self-judgment.
I'm pretty much blown away.
Stop the self-judgment. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Everything you do, I don't care what it is. Walk and live, and you see if it ain't who you want to be, because you are you, and you are always going to be you.
Man, you put me and you in the room together, it'll blow up the whole house. You get more fired up than I do. So
thanks to everybody. I have to say, I don't even, words. If they ain't feeling it by now, they don't know it by now. They ain't gonna never know. The energy speaks for itself. It does. Your energy's incredible. I'm gonna see you in the flesh. Morgan, you got it going on.
Well,
You got it
Yes.
going on, and you
She's
all are. I mean, to me, I'm not one to put anybody up on a pedestal. You're doing yours, and I'm doing mine. Let me tell you something. Swap with me and see if you can do what I'm doing. That's the way I feel about it. I'll take yours.
yeah.
You
I'll
know,
take yours.
I've got the encouragement around me pushing me into this right here today, or I wouldn't be here. And
Well,
and I knew I could do it. I just didn't know how I was going to do it and what I was going to be able to come out and
they're going to be
say, or
pushing. They're going to
what
be
needed
pushing.
to be heard was
That's
heard.
right. That's right. And they're going to be pushing you more. By the way, they just told me. So I'll
They're going,
see
oh,
you.
Lordy, I don't
I'll
care.
see
Push
you.
me.
I'll see you online, and I have a strong feeling I'll see you in person this year. And
If it
because you're
comes
not
out
that
of the
far,
fire, Todd,
you're not that far from me. How far are you from how far are you from Memphis?
8 hours.
Oh, so you're on the other end.
I'm in
You're
East Tennessee.
oh
I'm closer to Virginia and
oh
North
yeah
Carolina,
yeah.
like in a corner right here. Here we
Man,
sit.
let's see
This little
my
rock.
brother who's coming on with me, by the way, who I just hadn't seen in 10 years. He lives in Charlotte, and I just went to visit him on the way over here to Arkansas. So I
Yeah,
went right by
I
you.
know. Every time you say you're going, you could be next door, unless I feel later to go over there and say, "Hey, Todd," I let you be. I just let you be. But listen,
Hmm,
uh, I just want everybody to know that everything's all well. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. Quit judging yourself, and you're going to be free. No, it ain't what you think it's going to be. I can't come up with it. No, I don't know what I need, not in the flesh, because this stuff is things that I always think I needed. Now I have what I need, and what I want, I'm building.
right on.
Every charred piece of wood that comes out of this fire that I'm living in, and people I know that come to me, they're throwing theirs in too, because I'm making sure they do. If it comes out of the fire, Todd, it's yours
Right on.
forever,
Right on.
forever.
Man, see you
Yeah.
later. You're amazing.
Peace.
What a great
Peace.
what a great way to start the day. Take care. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Love you.
Peace.